April 12th. Well, is it? Yeah, Tuesday, April 12th, everyone. How is everyone doing? Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Um, Yesterday I didn't do the news. I just did all I did was on cryptocurrency because I had decommissioned a Bitcoin. I have another one of those coming up in a few days. But anyways, let's get right down to it. Tuesday, April 12th. I see there's a lot of new stuff that's new and stuff, so let's get right to it. Looks like Elon Musk has something to say. Look at his stupid face.
Let's know. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel Elon Musk Evolution, where we tell you all the latest news about Elon Musk and his multi-billion-dollar companies. In today's video, we are going to tell you about Elon Musk's ambition to build a disastrous bug bot. Making an insect-scale bot is quite an easy task for him, as he is an AI praiser himself. First, let's take a look at Elon Musk's autopilot vehicles that work on the principle of artificial intelligence. As Elon has stated numerous times, a human is nothing more than two cameras, eyes, mounted on a gimbal, neck, with an onboard computer, brain, and we are capable of driving a vehicle with so few accidents that insurance can cover the difference, allowing us to live in today's complex world of transportation. A Tesla vehicle has cameras and multiple other sensors on all sides, so it should theoretically be able to do the job far better than two gimbal cameras. The most serious issue, however, is that AI has yet to master an understanding of the real world around it. But is it the most difficult problem for
There's
AI
the
to solve?
globe.
Well, not for Elon Musk, as he is working on a new...
That's so hilarious. Did you guys see that? They show a globe, and then after that they showed the globe on top of some type of flat chip. Yeah. Now I don't mean to sit there and point something now, but that sure looks like the electric flat earth theory, yo.
AI technology with the name of bug...
But without the globe, dude, without the globe. Even looking at that, you would say that reality is like on some type of flat electro interactive chip or some shit, you know? And the globe that's on that chip is just basically a digital image, which is true. That's so hilarious.
Bot that would completely transform the world in many more ways by understanding the hazardous environment around it. Elon Musk has recently hinted at using animals for a trial purpose. These bug bots, as the name indicates, would be insect-looking robots, tiny, highly versatile, and extremely strong. These robots are designed to be used in disaster situations. But why insects? Well, according to the study, insects like locusts can quickly distinguish between the smells of various explosives. But before sending a locust into a field to be used as a bomb-sniffing bug, there are a few technical challenges that must be overcome. Is there a way to direct the locust to tell it where to sniff? Is there a way to read the locust's brain to figure out what they're smelling? Because they can't speak, yet. Do locusts even have the ability to detect explosives? Let's see. Previous research from Washington University in St. Louis has demonstrated the ability to control locusts as well as the ability to read their brains to figure out what they're smelling. The third question has now been answered, thanks to...
Wow, that's some serious ethical issues right there. I mean, if you supposedly read the brain of a locust, where does that end? Like, next thing you know, they're reading the brains of humans. Maybe they would put a human, subject a human to disclosing their own information by, with an algorithm or something where, they track and monitor what they like and don't like and track and monitor what they say and don't say. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, that's social media.
Research from McKelvey School of Engineering. Researchers demonstrated how they were able to hijack a locust's olfactory system to both detect and discriminate between different explosive scents within a few hundred milliseconds of exposure, in a pre-proof published online on August 6 in the journal Biosensors and Bioelectronics X. They were also able to improve a previously developed biorobotic sensing system that could detect the locust's firing neurons and relay the information to researchers in a way that informed them about the smells the locusts were detecting. We weren't sure if they'd be able to smell or pinpoint the explosives because they have no ecological significance, said Bahraini Rahman, a biomedical engineering
Oh my
professor.
God, that was stupid.
It's possible they didn't pay attention to any of the cues that were important to us in this case. The locust buzzed into position with a chittering of wings and a flickering of antennae. The swarm buzzed across the road after being freed from their cage, their senses tuned and trained to the scent of TNT. The improvised explosive device, hidden beneath the loose cardboard and a fake papier-mâché rock near the corner of the street, first one lands, then another. Like a game of Minesweeper, the swarm monitor plots the location on a table and waits for the swarm to identify more hidden hazards. Now this is where AI comes in. Working with a micro to milli robotic platform introduces a slew of new power, navigation, and control challenges could all be done with the help of AI. The development of micro-electrochemical systems, or MEMS, additive manufacturing, piezoelectric actuators, and low-power sensors is already benefiting mall robot research. But miniaturizing robots to millimeter scale is being hampered by a lack of development in other areas. As Elon Musk says, this project aims to address this problem by focusing on actuator materials and mechanisms, components that allow and control movement, as well as new power storage solutions that allow for independent maneuverability. Elon Musk's team says, while the goal of this project is to develop small-scale independent robotic platforms, we anticipate that discoveries made through our actuator and power storage research could prove beneficial to a number of fields currently constrained by these technical challenges, from prosthetics to optical steering. Moreover, our land and skies are built with AI robots. Now is
It's funny how none of the imagery that they're showing has anything to do with what they're talking about. It's just total. And then they got, what's up with the music? Then they go with the hypnotic music in the background. It's ridiculous. Like a lot of this is just too stupid to, like, it's annoying listening to that stupid hypnotic sound in the background, and then looking at Elon Musk's stupid face. Look, I'll tell you guys straight up. What made America so great, okay, was the Bretton Woods system, followed by the petrodollar system. Now, specific when they changed all that, Henry Ford and the Ford Company, well, not Henry Ford, but the Ford Company itself, was what put United States on the map. The whole petrodollar system and Detroit. If you guys want to go ahead and Google that, the petrodollar system and Detroit car manufacturers, and you'll see why America got so great at one point. It was through that. It was through the petrodollar and the fact that humans were able to finally travel from place to place fast on their own, independently. Before that, they didn't have that. You know, they had like horses and buggies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And you know, in some places like in Asia, they had the taxi slave horse guys. You jump on some type of like little carriage and like they it looks like a backward one of those cement moving buckets, those movable buckets. That's what it is. And you're sitting on it, and some guys like running you down the street, down some horrible cobblestone roads. Well, here in America, we got big because of the car manufacturing industry, and because that was tied to the petrodollar system. These are facts. That's why we got big. Once we started the petrodollar system and it got out of control, where if you guys don't know how the petrodollar system works, I suggest you look it up. Basically, we have this made in Mexico, made in Taiwan, made in Vietnam, made in India. All these products that say made in this, made in that from other countries, we get those products very cheaply, only so those countries can get money so they could buy petroleum, because petroleum was only sold up until a couple years ago. Petroleum was only sold in dollar bills, American dollar bills. The Saudis would not sell their Saudi, even the Russians, the China, everyone. They would not sell. They would not buy oil or sell oil without dollar bills. The transaction was set. It was an international agreement. Everyone was using the petrodollar system. to buy oil. That's why we had all these cheap products. Instead of America focusing on making our own products and making our own stuff. So I give it to on Elon Musk there that he's trying to bring more of the production back to America. But that's exactly, we became dependent on all these cheap products. Meanwhile, none of us, none of the United States actually kept up with making their own products and stuff. Back in the days when I was growing up, Made in America meant something. That actually meant something. It was important for it to say Made in America. And you know what I mean? And nowadays everything's changing because the petrodollar system is no longer favoring the American economy. They've taken that. The United Nations is chopping up the American economy and the petrodollar system and choking it out in order to get United States equal to all the other countries. That's what this whole equality thing, that has to work with the countries as well, not just individual people. That's what this whole United Nations thing is. They're gonna say that not one nation is better than another.
An excellent time to develop underground or ground bug bots to aid the U.S. Army's reconnaissance efforts. The Pentagon's research arm is looking into how certain insects could aid in the development of new artificial intelligence technologies. The U.S. military has long experimented with new AI applications, ranging from missile systems to drone swarms. But the latest focus appears to be on understanding how nature's complexities might shape strategies in this field. Nature has forced drastic miniaturization and energy efficiency on these small insects, with some having only a few hundred neurons in a small form factor, while maintaining basic functionality. These organisms may be able to
I don't know, maybe those guys, that military was hunting some locusts, some little robot bugs. and these helicopters are flying around trying to like shoot them down from the sky. I don't know.
increased subjectivity of experience, extending simple lookup table responses to potentially AI-relevant problem solving. This new area of tech could lead to...
Oh look, that's Nemesis's headquarters. That's Nemesis right there, spreading government propaganda on Facebook, trying to get people banned, mass reporting people.
Systematic or entirely new ways of inferring, predicting, generalizing, and abstracting problems in order to find solutions to compelling problems. Furthermore, the Elon Musk team said, the Microbrain project was designed to figure out whether understanding highly integrated sensory and nervous systems in miniature insects help us develop smaller, lighter, more power-efficient AI systems. This is difficult, but not impossible, and considering Elon Musk and him as a tech mogul, we can't question what is happening. In the process of making bug bombs, Elon Musk takes notes from Washington University. They now know that locusts could detect and distinguish between various explosives. But in order to find a bomb, a locust would need to know which direction the odor was coming from. The odor box and locust mobile are introduced. You know how that coffee smells stronger when you're close to a coffee shop and less when you're further away? We are looking at that, Elon Musk's team explained. The locust sat in a tiny vehicle, and the explosive vapors were injected through a hole in the box. Researchers observed the locust's odor-related brain activity as it was driven around, sniffing different concentrations of vapors. The differences in vapor concentration were reflected in the signals sent by the bug's brain. The system for transmitting the locust's brain activity had to be improved next. To do the least amount of harm to the locust while keeping them stable enough to accurately record their neural activity, the team devised a new surgical procedure from attaching electrodes that did not obstruct their movements. Within 500 milliseconds, the neural activity of a locust exposed to an explosive smell was resolved into a discernible, odor-specific pattern thanks to their new instrumentation. We can now implant the electrodes, seal the locusts, and transport them to mobile environments, the team explained. The environment could one day be one where Homeland Security is looking for explosives. The concept isn't as strange as it appears. This isn't all that dissimilar from the days when coal miners used canaries. Pigs are used to locate truffles. It's a similar concept using a biological organism, but it's a little more advanced. Elon Musk has always been an AI lover, as we know his Tesla's autopilot feature and Tesla Bot, the next generation of automation, which includes a bipedal humanoid robot that can perform dangerous, repetitive, or boring tasks, are a product of it. Not leaving the Dojo chips behind, the Dojo system will be powered by AI training chips. From the smallest training nodes to multi-die training tiles, use cutting-edge technology and also the deep neural networks on problems
That
ranging
looks
from
stupid as
perception
hell.
to control
The hell is
using
that?
cutting-edge research. The per-camera networks perform semantic segmentation, object detection, and monocular depth estimation by analyzing raw images. As Tesla has mentioned on their site, we develop and deploy autonomy at scale in vehicles, robots, and more. We believe that an approach based on advanced AI for vision and planning, supported by efficient use of inference hardware, it is the only way to achieve a general solution for full self-driving and beyond. We sincerely hope you enjoyed the video. If so,
Taking away our like our ability to move ourselves from one place to another is basic slavery. I mean, I don't care if they're like, yeah, no, it's gonna be cool. We're gonna sit in this car, and like, what's gonna happen is you're gonna go jump in your car, and then you're gonna be like, you cannot move your vehicle. Your social media account has been banned. They're gonna tie it to like your social media and all that, and your digital currency, and they're gonna be like, oh, like you're like, it's ridiculous. Basically, they're entrapping humans with a digital prison. It's all a prison for the mind. Look how stupid Tesla looks. I mean, Elon Musk looks. 12 days ago, robots, sex bots. Wow, that's insane. 5 hours ago. Oh wow, let's get shocked. The whole industry.
In 1978, two spacecraft were launched from Earth in opposite directions. They were meant to go to deep space and be our eyes where we can't physically get to. One of the spacecraft, the Voyager 2, is no more than 11 billion miles away from Earth. And diligent engineers and technicians kept in contact and maintained it. However, even in space, disruption in service happens, and this caused the Voyager 2 to be completely cut off from Earth for more than a whole year. The first time in more than 4 decades, the spacecraft has been roaming the universe that it would...
You know what's so funny? That the original Star Trek movie, I believe, I don't remember if it was part 1 or part 2, but it's literally based on this supposed event. So supposedly, Voyager had been, so back then when they first shot out one of the Voyagers, they lost complete contact with it for a long time, and so they made that movie. They made the movie around that time. They said that Voyager 2 or Voyager 1, one of the Voyagers would got lost and just continued floating on, but as it continued floating on, it somehow became self-aware. If you watch the movie, you'll see that it's called V'ger, the robot that's coming back, the artificial intelligence, the robot that's coming back to attack humanity because it's looking for its god or its creator, is called V'ger. If you go and when they'll show a scene where when they finally figure out, they go to see that that this machine actually has letters written on it that are English, English letters on it. So they go up to look at it, and so it actually says Voyager, but somehow parts of the letters had fallen off or somehow in space. I don't know. Maybe it had like a deep space impact. I don't know. But supposedly the only letters that are left are V and then the Ger. So literally it becomes self-aware, and it's a great movie. It's a good movie. It's the original Star Trek with William Shatner and Spock and McCoy, the Doctor. It's a good movie, but yeah, it's based on actually this stuff right here. So this has always been some type of like television movie stuff, all the way back to the lunar the moon landing and all that was televised. That's TV propaganda, and it was done during the Cold War. Okay, a lot of this was done during the Cold War. And the pseudoscience gave the Americans a boost of a boost of morale. They're like, yeah, we're gonna become technologically advanced and blah blah blah, based off this pseudoscience. It was some type of egoistic way of bumping up the American population to feel we're better than everyone else.
Completely be on its own. How did Voyager 2 manage on its own, and how did NASA manage to connect back to the spacecraft? We bring you the story of how NASA finally contacts the Voyager 2 again after 1 year of silence. In the billions of miles the Voyager 2 has traveled, it has taken humanity to where we will never set foot. It has flown past Uranus, Neptune, with stunning pictures and a trove of knowledge we would never have got through any other means. The trip to Neptune
He literally said that humanity will never step foot. He just said that right now. He just said it. Future Unity said so, guys. He said you guys will never, ever, ever step foot up there.
This day is the only close encounter humanity has ever had with our solar system's 8th and last planet, as well as with Triton, the largest known object to originate in the Kuiper Belt. The discoveries from that flyby were spectacular, as a number of fantastic features were discovered. Neptune's ring system, a number of small inner moons, and a series of features on Triton, including cryovolcanoes and varied terrain similar to what we'd discover some 26 years later
Water
when
volcanoes,
New Horizons
yo.
flew past Pluto. However, in 2020, NASA had to make the painful and risky decision to shut down the only means of communicating with the Voyager 2. Left on its own, any error that came up could not be corrected. For example, at the end of January, the robotic probe executed a routine somersault to beam scientific data back to Earth when an error triggered a shutdown of some of its functions. Everybody was extremely worried about recovering the spacecraft, said Susan Dodd, who is the Voyager project manager at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California.
Yes, that's where I was. That's where I went to go do that job site. I said I was in there, and I was in there to service their digital content, their digital media. So what happens? They have like a bunch of TVs throughout their whole facility, and it plays the same government commercials, not government commercials, JPL commercials, over and over, and so it doesn't matter if you go into the break room or if you go into another office, and they are literally brainwashing their employees. And like I explained, it's very decompartmentalized. I couldn't, I was literally escorted from one place to another, and then you go into certain areas where you're left in there, you're locked in there, and then someone comes from the other side, unlocks you, moves you to the next area. It was a horrible experience. And so, having said that, moving forward, all the SpaceX, I've only had one SpaceX and one NASA job site. Two separate work orders come, one for each, one for SpaceX, one for NASA, and I denied both of them. I rejected them, and I posted it on Facebook at the time. That was underneath the Ramos Quality Communications Facebook profile, and that was the Simon J. Ramos profile. And so I posted it there, and a bunch of the globe heads got mad. They were like, how dare I, like, just willfully and intentionally, maliciously reject on a NASA job site. And then when I did the SpaceX, that was even worse, because I was like, I don't work for NASA, and everyone was like, yeah, they're not NASA, they're SpaceX. I was like, man, I'll go over there. One time when I was driving over there it's in Hawthorne. I'll probably go over there tomorrow. But as you pass by, you see NASA logos all over the place. They are contractually bound to NASA. I mean, they are literally just another name for NASA, a more cooler one. But they are contractually bound to NASA. They work together. They have contracts together. They execute missions together, and blah blah blah. And we already know that that Elon Musk has already admitted him, and even NASA has admitted themselves, they're all part of the central. They're involved with Central Intelligence Agency and the other government agencies. I better not even say them because they might get banned. They're gonna get mad and try to ban me for speaking the truth. But anyways, tomorrow. Oh no, that you know what? That was today's job. Was in Redondo Beach. I should have went over there. I didn't. It didn't occur to me. Oh yeah. That was today's job. Well, I did a job today in Redondo Beach for a Macy's and. So, anyways, let's get back to this whole Voyager thing. But yeah, I would never work for JPL ever again, and I would never accept any work from NASA or SpaceX. That's ridiculous. I mean, to be walking around in those places, like literally, if something bad happens, you get stuck in one of those rooms. Who knows how long you'll be in one of those rooms stuck? You know what I mean? I just felt like a jail, and so yeah, I would never accept work from JPL again.
Missions managers on our planet know what to do when such a fault occurs. Although it takes about a day and a half to talk to Voyager 2 at its current distance, they send commands to restore its normal operations. However, with no means of communication, any problem or issue is beyond the control of the managers. In addition, other necessary commands could not reach the robotic trailblazer. But why exactly did NASA make this decision? For the answer, we have to go to Australia. The Voyager 2 has only one antenna that it can talk to on Earth, and it is located in Canberra in the Down Under. This is due to the direction it was flying out of the solar system. As a result of the probe's flyby of Neptune's moon Triton in 1989, Voyager 2's trajectory steered significantly southward relative to the solar system's plane of planets, meaning Earthbound antennas.
There's the plane. They said it again, the plane of planets. They're like, no. The globes are funny. They're like, why are all the planets round, but Earth is not? They're like, why are all the systems planar or planar? why is space time flat?
In the northern hemisphere have no way of reaching it. If the antenna goes down, everything about the Voyager 2 goes down as well. It is part of the Deep Space Network, or DSN, which is how NASA and allied space agencies stay in touch with the armada of robotic spacecraft exploring everything from the sun's corona to the regions of the Kuiper Belt beyond the orbit of Pluto. Voyager 2's twin, Voyager 1, is able to communicate with the other two stations. Communicating with the Voyager 2 is a game of patience because a round-trip message takes about 35 hours, that is 17.5 hours each way. Naturally, the communication time continues to increase the farther the spacecraft travels. The DSN is one of space exploration's most valuable assets. It comprises one station in Goldstone, California, the United States, and two overseas in Canberra, Australia, and Madrid. It has been in operation non-stop for 57 years. Without it, spacecraft that traveled beyond the moon couldn't communicate with Earth. It is used not only by NASA but also by the European Space Agency and the space programs of Japan, India, and even the United Arab Emirates.
Again, let me reiterate. Let me remind everyone. All those space agencies are part of UNUSA, the United Nations of Outer Space Affairs. They're United Nations. They do not represent their individual countries. Their individual countries have their individual laws within their individual borders. No one is India is not allowed to superimpose their India laws on anyone else beyond their own borders. This is the way I keep saying. This is a way for them to actually say that you cannot escape any country. You cannot escape any country and go start your own country. You cannot escape any country and go find an abandoned, uncharted island that's full of gold, full of water, drinkable water, full of petroleum, full of lithium, full of diamonds. The list goes on and on. If you were to try to escape any country and land on an uncharted island, they would say that island now belongs to the United Nations because you are an American, or you are a Russian, or you are blah blah blah. They're gonna say that you're one of the founding members or one of the other members of the United Nations. And that's where the whole thing about a whole United Nations charter comes into play. the United Nations Constitution. So the American Constitution only works in America. It does not work in the International Space Station as seen on TV. Okay? You're like, yeah, NASA TV, NASA TV. It's on TV because NASA. Ridiculous.
Station on Earth is outfitted with three 34-meter antennas and one 70-meter antenna. They switch back and forth depending on where a space...
See, those are antennas, guys. They're parabolic, okay? And they're dishes. Those are parabolic dish antennas.
Spacecraft is in relation to our planet, and you can see which spacecraft are talking to Earth in real time by visiting NASA's DSN Now website.
Oh.
DSS-43, which the Voyager 2 communicates with, is a 70-meter dish that has been operating since 1973. It was long overdue for upgrades, especially with new robotic missions headed to Mars later in the year, and even more preparing to launch to study other worlds in the months and years to come. So last year, the dish was switched off and dismantled, even though the shutdown posed a considerable risk to the geriatric Voyager 2 probe. Ms. Dodd, who heads the group that manages the Deep Space Network for NASA, was reluctant to switch off the dish, but it had to be done. Frankly, there's never a good time to take down an asset and never a good time to fix the potholes in the road. But you know you're going to do the work at the airport, not during the Christmas rush. You're going to do it when it's less busy. The risk of shutting down the line of communication with the Voyager 2 is heightened by the fact that it's a geriatric spacecraft. One risk was keeping Voyager 2's communication antenna pointed at Earth. To do this, the probe fires its thrusters more than a dozen times a day to stay oriented. However, without communicating with the spacecraft, the mission's man...
So it's thrusting into a vacuum. As it thrusts, the vacuum of space sucks whatever's thrusting out. So that's just stupid. God, that is so stupid.
Managers had to trust that the automation on board would be executed relatively
You just gotta trust it, guys. You know, put some trust in this crap.
flawlessly for nearly a year. Keeping the temperature warm enough was another headache. The Voyager team had been slowly shutting off instruments in order to use their heaters to keep the spacecraft's fuel lines at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. There was, however, a way to get data from the Voyager 2 even though it couldn't receive any signal. The team would still be listening to the spacecraft. By combining the power of the other antennas in Canberra, they will be able to collect its scientific observations. The upgrade work on the DSS-43, however, was complicated by the pandemic. Ordinarily, the mission's managers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California would have deployed about 30 professionals to handle the dish's maintenance. But the COVID restrictions reduced the team to only 4 members, many orders of magnitude less than the amount...
See that shit? Exactly what I'm saying is decompartmentalized. Like, only 4 members are going to be allowed, and those are the 4 assholes that are bootlickers that know that and like, what evidence do these guys have of everything working? None at all. It's decompartmentalized. These guys are told to do what they're told to do. Finish the tasks. Don't ask questions, or they'll get fired. And then that's it. They don't know about the rest of it. Did these guys go all the way to down under and actually talk to V'ger? No, they didn't.
...of manpower needed. And at the Canberra station site, the logistics were overwhelming. The crew working on the upgrade had to be divided into 3 smaller teams to make sure there was always a backup team in case anybody got sick, and the whole team had to isolate and get tested. They also split the teams into morning and evening shifts to ensure social distancing. As part of the refurb, DSS-43 got 2 new antennas, upgraded heating and cooling equipment, power supply equipment, and other electronics to support the new transmitters. By October, the team working on the DSS-43 was ready to send a test message. By that time, the antenna was mostly reassembled.
That makes no sense, okay? They're saying that they're putting new transmitters that's supposed to work with an old receiver that has also an old transmitter out on it as well. This is a dual transmit receive circuit here. That makes no sense what they're saying. How are they going to upgrade, do a lot of upgrades here on, supposedly here on Earth, but then the antenna itself that's floating off in the middle of nowhere doesn't get any upgrades? It's just total stupidity.
A device on board called the Command Loss Timer is used to help the spacecraft determine whether it's lost contact with Earth and should protect itself by going into a form of electronic slumber. The October test reset the timer and successfully told the spacecraft to continue operating. As you could imagine, there was a great sigh of relief in Canberra when the Voyager 2 responded as expected. Ms. Dodd, quoted earlier, praised the team. The DSN folks in Canberra did
Praise the team. Amen, everyone. Praise them.
a remarkable job under the pandemic conditions just to upgrade.
Look, we gotta praise the angelic contraption. You know, the angelic contraption that's floating around in the void of nothing, is gathering cosmic and celestial knowledge for us. Praise the team for being able to, bring back online the angel and floating in the coldness of deep nothing.
DSS 43. I've got 100% confidence in that antenna that it'll operate just fine for a few more decades.
Confidence. Oh my God. You guys know what con man means? Okay, let me explain to you guys what a con man is. All right. A con man is back in the days also called a man of confidence. So con man, what that means is confidence man. So what a con man does, a con man gains your confidence. When someone has your confidence, they could tell you anything they want to tell you, okay? And you would suck it up like a sucker. Now, there's the whole term con man comes from, okay, guys? All right? And when someone starts talking about, like, you should have confidence in them, you're starting to talk about having beliefs. You know what I mean? You believe in them. You have trust in them. You have hope that they are fucking not lying. Okay? You can only pray that they're not lying.
Asked when the Voyagers are done. Of course, both Voyagers won't work forever. While they hold the records for the farthest a spacecraft has ever traveled and for the longest operating mission, they will eventually stop working. The thermoelectric generator that uses plutonium to produce the power on board is not infinite and will give out at a point. The signs are showing already, as each year the spacecraft produces 4 fewer watts of heat. Scientists believe the 2 Voyager missions will come to an end within another decade, but to postpone the eventuality as much as possible, NASA has been switching off the systems that are not in use. Only sensors that can take measurements at the location the spacecraft is are allowed to run. For example, there is nothing more for the camera to see anymore, so it is turned off. However, more drastic steps are needed to keep the spacecraft working for as long as possible. For example, Ms. Dodd and her colleagues are preparing to switch off the heater for one of its scientific sensors, the low-energy charged particle instrument. Doing so will ensure that the spacecraft's limited power supply can keep its other systems, particularly its communications antenna, warm enough to function. She thinks the step will reduce the quality and quantity of the spacecraft's output, but the sacrifice is necessary to increase the mission's lifespan. Ms. Dodd hopes the spacecraft could reach its 50th anniversary in 2027, even if not all of the instruments will still be operating. However, as long as the Voyager 2 remains functional, even at incredibly low and inefficient power levels, we can continue to upgrade and enlarge the antennae that are a part of NASA's Deep Space Network to continue to conduct science with them. As long as these spacecraft remain operational in some capacity, simply continuing to upgrade our facilities here on Earth will enable the mission managers to gather data for years to come. Voyager 1 and 2 are already the most distant operational spacecraft ever launched from Earth and continue to set new records each day as they speed away at more than 34,000 miles per hour. They've both passed the heliopause and entered interstellar space, probing different celestial hemispheres as they go.
Heliopause. Okay. All right, Globetards. Specifically Nemesises. All right? I'm not going to do it right now. But you show me your wall of fire. Show me your firewall. Show me the edge, yo. I could go on and on. Show me the bubble. Show me the bubble. Show me the edge of the bubble. Holy crap, do you guys even science, bro?